6 months may seem like quite a long time to some people, but to investigators of the mythos, 6 months is nothing, for the mythos does not care about time. It does not care about anything. Welcome back, folks, to Call of Cthulhu. 6 months have passed for the investigators, who will introduce themselves in no particular order.
Or will they?
As always, no one says
No,
anything.
they will not. They never do.
Hello, I am Kleika, and I am playing Martin Schmidt, who is currently going through some problems.
It's okay, dude. We've all been there.
Next.
I'm playing Violet Carter, who's currently holed up in a ranch, fighting people with swords.
Yes, you are.
I'm playing Dr. Daniel Grant, and we just introduced ourselves. Yeah, okay. Hi.
Yes, you did. Now,
Wait, what?
you're just introducing yourselves.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, yeah.
So you are Dr. Daniel Grant. Everyone knows you.
Well, that's good.
Or do they?
I hope so. Well, except the people who don't.
By the way, Violet, your sword fencing teacher is called Antoine Martin.
I knew an Antoine. His surname was Pinot Gordon.
6 months have passed since the events in Wales. Violet and Daniel have been doing their own studies, independent of their normal daily routine, and Schmidt was placed in a gentle and forward-thinking institute by Violet, where he could recover. It has been a week since Schmidt has been released from the institute. The institute perceive that he is well enough to reintegrate himself into society. And the 3 investigators have decided to come together again for a meal. Time to reflect, time to ponder, and time to reconnect. Also coming with them is a recent friend of Daniel's, one of his former patients from a couple of months ago, who, after having having treatment from Daniel, they formed a sort of connection, as in basically they started corresponding, and you've sort of become associate friends. And considering how few friends you have right now, Daniel, you thought
Oh,
inviting...
harsh, dude.
Well, you've been isolating yourself quite a bit when you've not been working.
That's true, I have been.
You have been. So you decided to invite him along as well. This is a relatively well-to-do restaurant in Boston. There is no alcohol. And for people who may not have seen the investigators before, or for people who want to see if anything's changed over 6 months, reintroduce how you look.
Who, all of us, or?
If anything has changed in particular, now is a good time to mention it.
What, in terms of our downtime?
In terms of your appearance.
Ooh.
Has anyone become more dishevelled? Has anybody...
I think... I don't know. I don't think anything much will have changed visually. Maybe the hair looks a bit crazier. Slightly wilder hair.
Couldn't hear you, Leica.
That Schmidt probably got a little softer, seeing how he, had to spend pretty much 6 months in a care home.
It was a nice place. Lots of relaxation, lots of painting. You painted lots of landscapes.
Yay, landscapes.
Softer, you say is Schmidt thick?
No particular changes for Daniel then, outwardly?
Daniel has 2 new tattoos.
Ah. Are they visible to the other investigators, or are they hidden?
They are visible at the moment because my sleeves are rolled up in a restaurant. So they're on my underarms.
Aha. What do they look like?
They look like the same sigil that we found on the pendant of the man at the farmhouse.
Ah.
Which Daniel knows what it is. Did the rest? Because I passed my check at the time.
The 2 people that were there probably recognise seeing the symbol, but they might not know what it is.
I
In that case,
I think Violet knows what it is.
Yeah.
You can probably Cthulhu Mythos and tell me.
Oh, doll.
No, I just mean that I think at the time, didn't it?
You did know, yes. You did know.
Yeah.
But you could maybe get different information, but that's fine. You do know what it is. The other person that is at the table, can they describe themselves, please? The newcomer.
A fairly short British fellow, seems fairly well kept, parted hair, smart suit, quite short.
Mid-20s?
It's, mid-20s.
And you go by the name because Daniel will know your name.
Of Everett. And then
Goes by-
Vickers Earl's the name.
What is the atmosphere between the four of you like? Everett is probably not entirely sure what to make of the atmosphere, but what is it between you three? What is it like now? Is it sort of muted? Is it happy that you've met up again, or...?
Oh, I'm certainly happy to see everyone. It's been a long time, so.
Violet?
I don't know. I think it's sort of cautiously interested to see what's going on.
And Schmidt?
Meine Freunde, I am so happy to be here with you again. I feel a lot better than the last time that we saw each other. I don't even want to think about that time anymore. It's in the past now. I've moved on. Die Berge sind schön, how you say in German.
The food is quite good, by the way. The starter is a tomato soup.
Just quickly, Kiko.
Yes.
Are we in a private room or are we in a crowded restaurant?
This is a private room.
Excellent.
This is a private room.
Private room for private matters.
Because
Nice.
with certain conversations that some of them may have thought would be going on, or potentially you thought private room might be suitable. So, the starter is a tomato soup. If anybody wants to bring up anything in particular, the starters may be a good time to do so.
Well, Schmidt is probably going to be like, because he's been pretty isolated and he was the one who got pretty much hit the hardest by all of this.
Certainly did.
Luckily, nobody died. But Schmidt is basically saying, Meine Freunde, you have to tell me, I have slowly come to grips with what exactly we've seen. And while we have seen some degrees of horror before, but what exactly did we do wrong? All I remember was throwing the gem and then seeing an abomination. I don't even want to think about.
Everett, this is unusual
An
conversation
abomination,
for
you say?
Has he introduced himself? Who is he?
I presume we just say my name's
Well,
Everett.
I presume
I'm a
I
friend of
introduced
Daniel.
you.
Is a
Well, I
friend
presume
of-
I introduced you when we
Yeah.
turned up. So
You two don't know Violet and Stravinsky and Schmidt, get those names mixed up. You two don't know this person, but Daniel has introduced him as a friend of his.
Okay, so just as a friend.
Yeah.
You
So,
said
I mean,
an
I would've-
abomination? So something like the two-headed calf of Calcutta?
If only had it had
Yeah,
been a
exactly.
cow.
How read in is he? Like,
Kind of.
we haven't really discussed anything particularly out of the ordinary.
right.
It
So,
could be, me just talking about a gem
he,
and an
he
abomination.
does know
seems
that
pretty
you've recently
confused.
come out of an institution, though, so...
Yeah, I
Yeah,
said
yeah.
you were crazy.
Oh, okay. Thanks, I guess. Is that your medical opinion?
My medical opinion is you is mad, yo.
Oh.
Nah, it's cool.
Well,
I won't say that's me.
It is. It does hurt me physically and emotionally.
Everyone enjoying the starter?
Is
I'm gonna-
Delicious.
no one going to respond to my question with some kind of mythos role that
There-
is explained
there
what
might-
the fuck is going on?
Oh wait, does your character actually know? I mean, have we at any point reported back what actually happened in the end? I mean, does your character know what the end result of that was?
I had no.
He was
not
have,
in a-
he was not-
I was in a state of where
No,
if you
no,
wanted
I
to
was-
tell
I
me
was-
something. I was.
He was not in a condition to get the information, so this
You
is
know,
the
I
first
was
opportunity.
wondering if
I am
it's-
basically after 6 months. I am at the level again where you might be able to reasonably try to explain why I snapped in the first place.
Just to give you a warning, Everett, we're going to be talking about some things that might seem odd.
Oh, I delight in the odd. In fact, I've travelled to quite a few museums of various, taxidermies usually, but of some quite strange creatures.
I
Definitely
put a
say
hand.
that it's...
I put a hand on Everett's shoulder and I see, Herr Everett, if this was only a museum, a thing for the museum, but it is not. This runs free, and you should steel yourself for what you will hear about.
Something in the flesh, you say?
By the way,
Flesh of sorts, I think.
English
perhaps.
is 50%, so just so you guys know.
It's perfectly fine.
The short answer is that as far as we can tell, 2,000 Welshmen went missing, and there hasn't been any reports of anything further. So either it accomplished whatever it set out to do, or it's lurking somewhere.
Really?
Perhaps it's returned to where it came from.
Well, I remember the looks of it, and I remember the sheer horror it caused me, but what exactly, where did it come from? What did we cause this, and what was it?
It looks like the gem was a prison, and throwing it into that thing destroyed the prison. And what it contained was set free.
Ah, yes, the invisible thing that turned everything into dust.
Well, it seems that in this case, what it turned to dust were the prison's walls.
Yes, that was perhaps a rash decision on our part, but we had no way of knowing.
All I remember is taking the gem and throwing it, thinking this will surely deliver us from whatever was chasing after us, and then everything after that is a mess.
I just wish I knew what we'd seen. I spent some time studying, trying to find out. I don't think I'm that much closer to understanding it, though.
The door opens. The waiter comes in. How was your food? Was it starter good?
Cosmically excellent.
Excellent. Anybody not eat it, or did everyone eat?
Yep.
Oh, we all ate.
I ate.
Well, that sounds sinister.
Is that kind of, you kind of in this kind of game, you become very distrusting of the GM when he keeps trying to steer the discussion to how good the starter is. It's kind of like
Sometimes these questions are.
I patched Schmidt on the back.
Sometimes these questions are important. He takes them away and says that he'll be back with the main soon, and leaves. All of this conversation, Everett, has jogged something in your memory that you'd wanted to mention.
To anyone in particular, like Daniel or someone else?
To all of them, actually, now that you're thinking. Originally, you just wanted to mention it to Daniel, but now you're thinking maybe all of them would like to know.
Let me just check something quickly.
He is consulting his notes. Loading screen appears.
Da, 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 da.
So, Daniel, you've actually seen some quite strange things, I take it.
Yes, I think for lack of a better term, that would cover what we've seen over the months. Yes.
Any secret societies involved? I've been researching a variety of them, the Rosicrucians, the Freemasons, of course, Knights of Pythos, many others. And I came across quite a few. I was wondering if you'd had any experiences yourself.
Well, I kind of want to shoot a sort of sideways glance at everyone else around the table, looking for sort of the okay to sort of discuss things.
I would say that we've encountered a few secret societies, but I think if there's one underlying continuous property, it's that none of them actually understand anything. And what appear to us as secret societies are merely the tip of the proverbial iceberg.
Yes, I think secret societies are perhaps a more polite way of saying we've run into perhaps a cult.
I wish they would stay secret.
Yes, I certainly wish some of the things perhaps I'd have been happy for it to stay secret, but now we know.
It seems to be much of the literature about secret societies focuses on what they can accomplish. What we've broadly discovered is that what they can accomplish is to engage with things that they don't understand and break everything.
I think what they can accomplish perhaps is more terrifying than we possibly could have thought.
Yeah, so it's not like they came out of it any better than anyone else.
No. We don't know what happened, actually.
That's all very interesting.
I think about what happened.
I happen to work as a side business for a small crypto journal by the name of the Paranormal Papers. And recently we've been getting, I'm not quite sure where the information comes from, but something about an organization called the Hermetic Order. I had actually wondered if I could pick your brains if you'd ever heard of anyone by that name before.
Certainly doesn't ring a bell with me.
Knowledge rolls from everybody
I
that...
was about to say, that rings a bell.
Knowledge rolls.
58, and my knowledge is 85 or something.
Right, that's pass.
Kiko,
69,
What about Schmidt?
Please. Kiko, please.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Schmidt doesn't know.
I told you.
No.
No,
but
nothing.
there's a reason why you don't know, and that is because this has been a relatively recent thing. It's only been around for about 4 months. It is a fraternal group, an organization that call themselves the Hermetic Order of the Silver Twilight. You don't know much about them, you two, apart from the fact that it is a little out of the ways in Boston, and it is a fairly inclusive society, with the exception that it is a male-only society. It is a fraternal order.
Ah, a sausage fest.
Oh, yeah.
Has I don't happen to know anything about it from Nameless Cults, do I?
No.
Okay.
I think we can relay what we've
You
known.
can relay what you know, yes. You relay what you know to Everett.
Yeah, essentially. What you said.
Well, and also to me, I would say.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, to Smith as well. Yeah.
I have to admit, I don't know significantly more myself. It's been quite difficult to find anything about them in the libraries, which is where I normally do most of my research. They are quite recent, it seems.
I suspect they're another boys' club of dilettantes and amateurs.
There's nothing that wrong with boys' clubs, dear girl.
Well, I think the recent boys' clubs we may have run into, perhaps.
Oh, essentially.
We've not had a good experience with various fraternities, and
I wish it was only
polite society
boys.
seem to have left us recently.
I wish it was only boys who attended those.
Well,
Is your friend quite all right?
he's had a bit of a start. He's not been very well. Luckily, now that I'm here, I can also give my my little eye on him as well, if necessary.
Man
That's
tries to drug me.
Yeah, just start like
Just
tapping
under
his
the
wrist.
table, gives like
There
some
is-
more.
Schmidt, give me a wrist, man.
Oh.
There is one thing that Everett has not mentioned directly, which I if you don't mind, Phil, I can remind you of.
Go on.
It is that you remember that the this fraternal order is not actually listed as a fraternal organization in Boston. It appears on no list of standard list of fraternal organizations. That is something you were to relay to them as well.
Okay. Oh, this. Yeah, it's just I did as well.
Yeah. As you mentioned this, he then goes, but it's not listed on any official list of organizations. They should be. They're not.
It's interesting you mentioned that. For I have recently taken note that finding out things officially perhaps is not the best way to do things. Perhaps we can ask around.
You can ask around. You can do research in the morning. You certainly can. The evening is not the best time to do it.
No, but I'm saying more to Everett. Perhaps we can ask around for you, if you want to find out.
That'd be very kind indeed.
Also, I can fill you in on perhaps some of what we've run into, like fraternity and, lack of a better term, cult-wise, if that would be interesting to you or your paper. I'm sure we can add a few bits here and there.
I hope it's, of course, be kept exclusively between you and I.
Well, I don't see not, my dear fellow. We are.
We'd hate for someone else to grab the scoop.
I mean, truthfully, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know how popular this particular subject is, but you're more than welcome, and
We
can
have
keep it
avid
between.
readers.
Well, okay. I'd like a copy of this. After we're all done, I'd like to read it myself.
But of course.
Okay. You're all of general agreement then that you might want to do some looking into this. Maybe.
I'm going to deploy my devastating library skills.
You will be in the morning, yes. There will be devastating library use.
I'm going to annihilate the Dewey Decimal System.
Is there anything else in particular that will go on during the meal, or will it slowly wind its course?
I kind of wanted to show everyone like the tattoos I had
Yeah,
done
you
and
can
sort
show
of
them the
and
tattoos.
Can I?
So,
Sorry.
Yep. Sorry, no,
Continue.
please.
No, you go. You. No, your thing first, then I'll do mine.
Okay. So gentlemen and lady, I just before we part, I wanted to sort of say this. We saw it on the pendant. I don't know if it'll do anything, but it makes me feel more comfortable at night.
Cthulhu mythos rolls for anybody that has it when he reveals the strange symbols on his underside sides of his wrists.
Pico, please.
You actually pass, Schmidt.
Wait, what? What did you roll?
I rolled a 5.
Wow, nice.
It's exactly
Wow.
your mythos score.
Wow.
What about Violet?
I was going to say I'm going to sound out Everett using my occult skill, see what he actually knows, because part of the problem is that
Well, roll your
I'm-
occult then.
25, my occult's 85 or something.
Are we rolling like opposed occult skills?
No.
No.
You think from how he's been speaking that he is perfectly versed in the occult, but not in the occult.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's pretty much like everyone else, which is that he's working off bad information from.
Yes.
I need a mythos roll from you, by the way, Violet.
I would actually go so far as to say that not only is he working off the bad information, he's diving quite deep into the bad information.
I got 94, so
Yeah, you have no... Schmidt,
not a success.
Schmidt, you know that they won't work unless there's actually magic in them. You know, you glean from the symbol that you remember seeing around Albert's neck that there was a certain presence to it. You just feel it now. You couldn't think about it now, but now the things you've seen, you feel that there was a presence to that symbol. That presence is not there in those tattoos on his wrists.
I want to say to Daniel, my friend, it is good that they give you comfort, but do not trust in drawings on your arm to save you from harm, because it is the arm itself that will keep you safe. So train it well.
No, my dear fellow, this is just pure comfort. The gun at my side is what keeps me safe.
Ah, yes. I know how well you shoot with that. I set them up. You should shoot them down.
It's interesting thought actually. I wonder if I could research how to put magic in the tattoos, or if that's even possible. Probably quite complicated.
He uses that one ritual. He uses teleports Daniel's
Just
arm
teleport him
into
into the floor. I'm like, well, at least the arm is safe now.
I'm like, Violet, I need that. How can I shoot with my arm in the floor?
Don't worry, you're just armless now.
So
Disarmed the enemy.
I take it the night concludes quite amicably.
You
then?
want to say something, do you?
Oh no, I was asking. I wanted to sound out Everett.
Yeah, you've done.
Oh, okay, right, cool.
Nothing
And I
else
have
in
indeed
particular.
sounded him. No, nothing else.
Wait,
Okay.
Eats a lot of food because for the first time in 6 months
Yeah,
he eats
you're eating a lot.
institution food.
It's not bad food, but this is better food. This is much.
Also,
better food.
I think I was, I think there's the usual social intercourse, and I think I would definitely want to see how Schmidt is, given that I've been paying for his internment.
He's a lot better than he was. They were
Yes.
certainly a good institution. They've done quite well with him. Which you're quite happy about.
To put it in numbers, his current sanity is 34 out of 55.
It
So
was
sane right now.
It was a lot lower.
It was 20.
So
It was.
the night winds on. There are social aspects to it, and eventually everybody decides to turn in for the night. You all return to your respective homes. I think Schmidt right now is staying with Daniel, because Schmidt right now has nowhere else to be.
Yeah, I haven't come out to my pad. It's awesome.
You do
Yay!
you do have that feeling, maybe once or twice, just out of pure habit, that you look behind as you're being driven to see if anyone's following you, but of course nobody is. Nobody would follow you. Why would they do that?
Who has this feeling? All of us. Or...
No, just Daniel. Just Daniel.
Can I make a listen?
Spot hidden would be what you need to do.
Well, yes, thank you. Yeah. I think I can.
Yeah, sure.
74.
74. No, there's nothing there. Why would there be? It's just you being paranoid.
Just me being paranoid.
Yep.
yes.
You guys rest, recuperate. The morning comes by, and the morning comes by with research, I imagine.
Ah, yeah.
People are wishing to research. What are people deciding to do research-wise? Violet wants to go to the library and find things.
You got to use the skills that you got.
What is Schmidt going to do, if anything?
I think Schmidt is gonna start work on another one of his little paintings or like a drawing. It's very much taken a liking.
Yeah, well, make sure you put a cloth down before you start, please.
Oh, I'm not painting. I think I'm just drawing at this point.
He's doing some drawing. What about Daniel?
Well, I would like to head somewhere. I kind of want to head somewhere a smidge more unsavory and see if I can ask around.
Okay, you want to ask around? Okay, that's fine. You want to ask around, and anything Everett's doing, or are you waiting for them to report back to you?
I think. So is there a big library? Like one big library that we go to?
There are many.
I believe it's the Miskatonic University.
There is Miskatonic.
Yeah.
There is also the Boston Public Library as well.
I would probably go to the library as well, since I have reasonably decent library use and continue. So I don't know if I'd bump into Violet there or not.
At some point, you probably might. What I want from both the people in the libraries is I want library use rolls. What I want from Daniel is a luck roll.
I got 5.
Well, that's pretty impressive. I'm going to mark that down.
Dewey Decimal obliterated.
Lol.
I got a 26.
26.
I'm gonna put this into the chat.
Fine as well. Checks for them. What about Daniel with that luck roll? What did you get?
1.
Oh no, that's important. That's very important that you just gained a 1.
Because you get bonuses.
You could
Wait.
gain bonus power. I kid you not, you can gain power from this. Let me see what happens. If somebody gains a luck roll of a 1, power can be said to be exercised. Subtract the power, your power from 21, which is...
My power is 12.
12, so 21, 9, and times that by 5. Ooh, right. Daniel,
Yes.
your power goes up by 2.
Yay! Wait, what's power doing?
Man gets randomly
Power.
zapped on the street and turns
Power.
into Superman.
Yeah, it's just go kaboom!
Your
like,
maximum,
"Ugh!"
your maximum magic is 14 now.
Ooh,
Your maximum sanity is now 70.
cool. Does my current sanity go
No,
up?
it does not.
Bummer.
It most certainly does
I
not.
love it. He just
go
sit there
up.
and just goes, "Oh, I feel sane as fuck right now."
Well, what happens is I will go through the library use rolls first. It doesn't take you long to come up with the same information that Violet the Everett came up with, which is that there is no Hermetic Order of the Silver Twilight. It does not exist as a fraternal organization. Both of you, although Violet comes up with it a lot faster, finds an obscure...
Professional.
comes up with a rather obscure and weird book on demonology that mentions a group called the Knights of the Silver Twilight. It doesn't go into any specific detail about them, but it does mention the Knights of the Silver Twilight. Let's see what else.
What kind of time period would it be talking about?
A while ago. We're talking like 100 years.
Okay.
Let's see what else you come up with. The main thing that you come up with is things that aren't really linked to the Silver Twilight. Basically, that's what you come up with. The other things you come up with that mention Silver Twilight aren't really connected, but you both come up with that. It's Violet's great roll that determines that it's about 100 years ago.
Great.
It's referencing this order. Daniel,
Yes.
you happen to actually encounter, by pure chance, somebody that you have you thought you'd lost connection with years ago. They were in England. They've actually moved over to America a while ago. You didn't even know they'd done this.
Cool.
And you connect a bit, and you mention just idly about the Hermetic Order of the Silver Twilight. And his eyes light up at the mention of this. He's like, I recently visited there only a week ago.
Wow, you don't say.
No,
Here, my fellow, let me buy you a drink. Why don't you tell me all about it?
Well, thank you. You buy him a... Is this an alcoholic or a non-alcoholic drink?
An alcoholic drink.
Oh, you go to a speakeasy.
I was thinking Daniel was somewhere reasonably seedy, so
You're going to a
near a bar.
speakeasy. That's fine. You find a speakeasy. It's not difficult. He loosens up even more at the mention of the drink, and everyone there was very friendly and well spoken. You know, many who joined are very well off, I can tell you, and they're of high intelligence too. Really, really smart people. You got degrees.
Very well off, you say?
Yeah.
Anyone you recognise from, polite society?
Oh, no, nobody. Trying to think. There are a few engineers that are there. You've got accountants that are there. There's a lawyer, I think, somewhere amongst them. There's a few policemen there as well.
Really? Any local faces?
None that I know. No, not local. I don't recognise them. I mean, I came away from it with a most favourable impression of the Order and of the sort of quality of person they want as a member. And yet I could not help finding it a very odd place, you know.
Odd? Why say that, fellow?
There are a lot more people that work there than I'd think would be necessary for a society, and they're not necessarily of the best sort. The employees are certainly not even half the cut of the cloth as the people going. There are entire floors that are sealed off from prospective members. Yeah.
Though you say you had such a good impression, and I mean, to be truthful with you, my old fellow, I've been kicking around a little bit, a bit lost of what to do. I wonder, as a doctor, they'd find skills for me there.
They would certainly appreciate your going. Why don't you go? I mean, they're open most nights. You just go.
I might just do that, my old man. Where would I find them exactly?
I'll give you the address. It's just.
Let me get my little notebook out.
There's just an air of unusual secrecy about it. I just can't shake it now that I'm actually away from it.
Maybe just it's a man's club kind of thing, you know?
Maybe. I don't tend to go to them very often, or ever, but it was just unusual, you know? Just weird.
Set you on edge a little bit? Perhaps it's just the air of the place.
Yes, perhaps. But yes, great catching up with you. We should definitely talk again sometime.
Please, I have a clinic in town. Why not visit me?
We'll do golf.
Hopefully healthy, of course.
Well, of course. Yes. Quite. Eventually that drifts off and he has somewhere to be, but the information you've gained there was quite enlightening. Almost invigorating for you.
I'd like to share this with the others, I think. But...
Schmidt, your drawings are going fantastically well. You've no idea what you're drawing, but you think it's going well.
Dude, that's called modern art.
You're trying to draw a tree. It's not coming out very much as a tree.
There's tentacles instead of leaves.
He's trying not to draw them. It gets to about early afternoon, middle afternoonish, and you all sort of meet up at the place that's best, which is, did you agree on a meeting place, or were you just going to go to, like, Daniel's place, or...
The back office of Daniel's,
Probably
I guess.
the back office of Daniel's place is probably the easiest.
Bring beer.
Like, I'm pretty sure my character would be in a hotel, because
Yeah.
I think he's New York rather than Boston.
Yeah, so, you meet up in the office of Daniel's place. You have information to relay to one another. Relay.
So everyone's here now, yeah?
Everyone is here.
Who'd like to share information first? How did the library search go, ladies and gent?
As far as we can tell, this order doesn't really have much written about it, but there was an order of a similar name about 100 years ago called the Knights of the something Twilight, I think. I can't remember what the exact specification was. Silver Twilight, there we go. Too many Twilights, man.
I wonder what made them change their name.
Modernization, perhaps?
Well, perhaps, but the Hermetic Order kind of implies that they've sealed themselves off, whereas the Knights would imply a quest of some sort, or to something to defend.
Maybe they found what they were looking for.
Possible.
Or something found them.
How about you?
Yeah, by sheer chance, I happened to run into an old friend of mine, who, luckily enough, happened to pass this order of late. Though, from first introductions, they didn't seem to say anything odd was occurring at the place, which by fortunes I now have the address for. But they did seem to think something was amiss. Too many people there for such a small place, perhaps. Sealed rooms. They didn't get a good look at the place. But something we can go on.
You know it's open tonight. You could easily go tonight.
Where they have like
Well-
open meetings and stuff, or
Yeah, open meetings. You can just
So
go.
what?
open-
Why
When
not?
he
Why
gives
not?
us the
Why not go as
address,
guests and have a look?
What kind of place would we all think it would actually be, considering the area of town it is in?
It's going to be a.
Or not town, if necessary.
It's in a pretty affluent area. It's not in a. It's a bit out of the centre of Boston, but it's in a pretty affluent area. It's going to be a well-to-do place. You know that
Well,
it
let's dress up.
You know, Daniel, that it has 3 stories. It looks like from the outside. The guy said it had 3 stories.
Yeah.
So, Violet, you might need a disguise.
yeah. Well, I mean, you know.
Does anyone have the disguise skill?
I think I have a little bit in it, but I'm not
Now-
sure how good it is.
Now,
I
how
don't
disguise
believe so.
works is that you don't roll it. I do. And
You know.
I know how good your disguise is, but you don't.
I mean,
So do
I
you-
feel like statistically, given that I'm enormous, it would actually be quite easy to disguise disguise as
Well-
a man.
Well, I will. If you want to try and help disguise him, I can let you do that, and I will roll the skill and note how successful it is.
I think it would probably make more sense for me to hang around outside, and then if necessary, they can call for assistance from me. Because
I mean-
otherwise,
You can try.
I mean, surely, big, you know, big hat, big coat,
Yeah.
waistcoat. You could probably pull it off. I'd imagine.
Luke, is your character English?
she is.
So there's a reasonable chance that we met each other in the library and had some level of bonding going on. So at least say, you know, odd girl, I can probably try and, you know, make you look a little more manly if you'd like to come in with us.
No, it's fine. I'll just wait outside. I don't think there's no reason. There's no reason to believe that me being there would be especially more helpful than me waiting outside.
In the night in Boston, and even in a well-to-do area such as this,
I can
ladies
always
such as
stay
yourself
with
should not be
Violet.
out late at night.
It's fine. I'm here with my driver.
All right, she's got the driver, doesn't she? Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you'd have to worry about Violet's safety.
Hmm.
Fair enough.
So, it's agreed then on the evening you're going to go check it out.
Yes, I think we should dress
So-
up, gentlemen. I don't
Well,
think there's any reason to go looking scruffy.
This chap you met, did he say you need to bring anything, like a secret handshake or anything? Nothing like
No,
that. right?
No,
He did
nothing.
mention one thing.
Oh,
If
did
you
he?
want
Oh,
to
excellent.
join, bring your checkbook.
He did mention, however, that it was
Let's bring Violet's checkbook, shall we?
a place of money, shall we say?
That's no obstacle for me. And
Reddit rating.
Luckily, I'm probably well enough that you guys, as my guests, potentially we could
no,
work this.
I insist. I'm obviously the one looking really into this and dragging you lot into the whole mess, so I should at least pay my own way.
Well, it would be rude for me to argue, I feel.
Okay.
Right. Shall we, I want to go dress up and dress smart.
Yep, that's fine. You can dress up as smart as you like, all of you.
Alright, let's...
You dress up, and
You...
you head off. It's not far. It's not a bad drive either. I'd say not a bad drive. No, it's not a bad drive. You end up arriving at this order building, and it's a really nice building. 3 stories, as your friend said. There is somebody at the door, and there are actually a few spaces for parking. They are taken, but there is a place just a little bit around the corner where you could park the
Did
car.
we get dropped off by Violet's driver?
I imagine so, yes. I imagine Violet, unless
It's a clown
So-
car.
you wait. Violet's car has to wait around the corner.
Okay, so what about from the outside of the building? Can we see sort of windows?
Yes,
Anything like? Is it well lit inside?
It's very well lit on the first 2 floors. The 3rd floor has no lights on at all.
Drawn curtains or?
Drawn curtains on the 3rd floor. Some drawn curtains on the 2nd one. None on the bottom.
Okay. And are we sort of dusk time-ish now?
It's sort of that time, yeah.
Right.
So you're going to approach the door?
I think so.
Alright. The man at the door looks at you all and goes, good evening, gentlemen. Are you wanting to enter the Hermetic Order of the Silver Twilight's lodge?
I think we're all quite interested.
Excellent. I enjoy enthusiasm. I just want to, sorry to formality and everything, but if you have any concealed weapons, please hand them over. This is a place of friendship and peace, and weapons are frowned upon within.
Could I make an effort to conceal my weapon?
You would have to roll a conceal check for me.
I don't even have a weapon.
Do you have conceal as a skill?
I don't believe I do.
In which case, you will be rolling on a flat 15%.
Ugh, fail. Okay. 18.
Yeah, your gun is. You have tried to conceal it, but he has noticed your gun.
In which case, I'll hand it over. Like
He smiled.
That's purely for personal reasons, of course.
Of course, everyone has their own reasons to be armed, but this is a place of peace and fellowship, and guns.
Of course.
That here. Anybody else?
Please look after it, though.
Oh, we will. Do not worry. It is not alone. Anyone else?
I don't think Everett carries a weapon.
Nope. Okay, so in that case, you are welcomed in to the foyer. The foyer is a, let's have a look at the description of the foyer. This is a marble-floored room, and lit by beautiful electric chandeliers. The walls are panelled, and the doors, like all the doors that you can see in this room, are of heavy oak. He offers to take your coats and put them in the coat room just to the left.
No, I'll hand in my coat.
You hand in your coat. He ushers you all to a room to the right. There is a room to the right with a few people within, and you see a person in there that is remarkably familiar, although for a moment, Daniel and Schmidt have to double take because... Actually, no, just Daniel, actually. Just Daniel has to double take at this. You think, I've seen this person before, but no. No, it couldn't be. Idea roll for me.
Okie dokie. 81.
Maybe, but... It is. That can't be. But it is. What does this person do upon seeing Daniel?
Who is it?
His eyes widen slightly, and he sort of looks at Daniel, and then he puts the finger to his lips as if casually, and then puts it back down again.
Daniel.
Oh.
This is Strapinski.
Gentlemen, I have prepared for this moment all my life.
You don't know who he is.
But yeah, I'm assuming Strapinski is conversating with someone.
I want to walk up and give him a quick, subtle handshake.
Well, I assume Stravinsky is he's there for the same reason as you.
Mm.
So, showing that you recognize each other would probably be a bad idea. Hence the gesture.
Oh,
but
man,
he sort of.
I want to do a subtle handshake though.
He sort of nods slightly and motions outside as if later.
In this room,
all right.
In this room, as well as a few people that are generally having conversations with members of the Order, is one man that notices that nobody is attending to you, and he approaches. This man is about 5'10". You think he weighs about 150, 160 pounds. He's got a meek face, slightly pudgy, quite forgettable, really. He's got glasses on, and his brown hair is thinning. You think he's about 35 or 40 years old. He's wearing a suit and tie. He approaches you all and smiles and goes, "Ah, welcome. Welcome to the Hermetic Order of the Silver Twilight. My name is Carl Stanford. What do I call you, friends?"
I'm Dr. Daniel Grant. Nice to meet you.
Doctor! He offers a hand to shake.
Doctor! I smell
return the
money!
You notice that now that in his other hand is a cane. He's not been using it to walk. A pleasure.
Careful, he knows Batista.
A pleasure. And who are your friends?
I'm Mr. Vickers Earl. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Everett.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Wonderful. New friends already. Brilliant. And who is this fine gentleman next to you? Looking to Schmidt.
Sorry, what?
Who is this fine gentleman next to you? looking to Schmidt.
Oh, sorry. Him saying "fine gentleman" and Schmidt is kind of like threw me off a little bit.
He's smiling.
My name is Martin Schmidt. I am a popular architect from Germany.
Doesn't Schmidt have quite a high appearance roll?
Are you
I have an appearance.
are you being
13?
sincere there, just out of curiosity?
Well, I do have an architectural degree, and I do have 32% in architecture, so I just seeing how there's a doctor and everyone with me, and everyone kind of seems to be men of wealth. I'm not going to be like, yes, I'm an ex-soldier. I shot people.
An architect. I'm very interested in architecture. What have you worked on?
Oh, on
He wouldn't know about the Bauhaus at this point.
Yes.
Though, so
in Berlin, there were many. I've worked on many of the great sites in Berlin. There was a restoration of the Brandenburger Tor.
Oh.
Yes, and I worked on that.
All gentlemen of outstanding character here. I'm happy to meet all of you. I've just been recently talking to this fine gentleman. Stravinsky is his name. A great scholar and gentleman, a soldier of high caliber. It's just been a fantastic day for meeting people. What brings you to the lodge? Are you here just to visit, or do you have an interest in potentially joining our brotherhood?
I think potentially joining. I heard from an acquaintance about your fine lodge and order. And we sort of wanted to get a sort of an idea of what was involved, really.
Oh, well,
as a German, I am always interested in joining groups of people coming together.
Well, I'm not the leader of this lodge. You'll want to. You'll no doubt meet John Scott at some point. Fine gentleman. He serves this lodge exceptionally well. Do not try and look too much at the pox on the face. It's a disease that he suffered when he was young.
Not so, my fine fellow. Being a doctor, I'm used to seeing all sorts of sights.
Yes, of course. But generally, it's a gentleman's club. There is a fine eating establishment here. There is a bar, should you wish to take a bit of a tipple. Don't worry, it's all fine. And generally, we talk about the events of now and the future, and of general matters of the unknown and the mysterious, and the mysteries that are presented towards humanity and towards everything in the order of everything. You will note, Violet, that...
I'm not here.
He's not here. She's not here.
You will note, Daniel, that he's very elegant.
Ooh.
Very elegantly spoken.
Okay.
I mean, at some point we could engage in conversation about matters of the mysterious and the mystical. It is popular of these days to discuss such things.
Quite right.
What do you know about? Oh, what is it called in the layman terms? The occult. Yes, everybody loves to use that name, but it's so blunt, is it not?
Oh, you know this and that from what I hear from patients mostly, though it do have a small interest in myself.
Anybody that wants to engage in this would like to make an occult roll.
Yes, please, occult roll.
Wow, I critically failed that.
Did you?
Stravinsky has edged over, as he was mentioned.
I rolled 100.
Oh, okay.
And literally goes, yes, the hocus pocus.
I just spilled my drink on myself.
Spill my drink. Roll me, please, Kiko.
Again.
56 was that?
26.
26.
Again.
Oh, that's good. That's a pass. Let's see. How does Schmidt do? Wow, Schmidt passes. Just.
Do me too.
And Stravinsky, does Stravinsky pass? No.
No.
So what happens?
Schmidt suddenly goes like, I am extremely interested in this.
What happens basically is that for a moment your mind completely blanks, Daniel. You blank completely on all things occult, and then you're like, oh, you mean the thing that happened in Wales a few months ago?
Oof.
Oh.
And there's silence. And Carl just looks a bit confused, and then Schmidt pipes in about something occult based around, and manages to catch Carl's attention. It's like,
yes, the Walpurgisnacht in Germany is
yes,
extremely,
Of
it
course.
is in circles in Germany, and with the Hexennacht, and
Of
it is
course,
like,
yes.
yes, der Schattenmann.
If Carl reacted to what you've said, you can't tell. He seemed to be just a little confused by your statement.
Man goes full occult on Pretender.
After about 10 or so minutes, he's like, you'll excuse me, I do have more people I need to speak with, but by all means, if you feel like joining the Order, you can stay behind till later and we'll sort it out, or you can come again tomorrow. There is no rush. After all, there is a long time in the future, and the future has yet to happen. You could, of course, talk to John Scott, but since you have spoken to me already, you can confide in me of your desire to join at your leisure. But I must tend to these people as well. Feel free to go further on into the lounge or the bar at your leisure.
Well, I would certainly like to talk to the man of two first names.
Anyone?
Quick question. What kind of attendee... okay, yeah, two questions, really. One, what do the attendees look like? Two, are there sort of valets, other people around who obviously sort of serving drinks, that kind of thing?
There are people beyond the foyer who are doing that. The door to the lounge is open a little. There are about...
How many people here look new?
A few of them look new, but most of the people just say hello, hand over their coats, and go straight into the lounge.
Ah.
A few people go out when they go into the foyer. A few people go in and then open a door, there's somebody standing by, to the right, immediately to the right after the reception, and go up some stairs. The door is closed after them. To the left of this foyer is another reception room, and just ahead is the lounge. So, basically at this point, the people, by the way, that are coming in are all quite well-to-do, Everett. They're all very well-to-do people. You can tell by their coats and their hats and the money that some of them are flashing around. Some of them are quite wealthy.
And their history of slave ownership.
The door to the right, is there any sort of acknowledgement of the people going up there? Do they sort of nod to the staff members as they go up there, or anything like that?
There's a greeting. They're just sort of greeting, and they go, "Oh, hello, such and such, and lovely day outside. Terrible weather though last week." It's just general conversation and acknowledgement. There's no
So there's no one really checking the door.
There is somebody standing by the door.
Okay.
Who is
So it is guarded.
It is guarded, so to speak. But the foyer is out there, and I imagine at this point, if you're all going out into the foyer, that Stravinsky can reunite with them.
Well, can we reunite at the bar?
You can go to the bar, yeah.
I'd say we'd migrate to either the bar or the lounge.
Okay, well,
yeah, because it looks a bit awkward in there.
The lounge is straight ahead. This room is looks like an informal meeting place for the various people within the lodge. The walls are panelled and the floor is carpeted. Scattered around the room are overstuffed chairs and small tables bearing electric lamps, the only source of light in the room. There are 4 servants in here tending to the various people's needs as they sit around, smoke cigars, talk amongst themselves, and generally enjoy themselves. The bar is to the left. So you can go into the bar. There is also a room to the right. There are restrooms as well.
I would like to point out before we do any of this, that Stravinsky will, of course, introduce himself to people and shake their hands, even to Daniel, so that any outward appearance would be that he's just met them. In case anyone's watching, he's a bit paranoid.
At this point, I will note to you, Daniel, that it is Stravinsky, but he certainly looks a lot healthier. He looks like he's got more vim and vigor to him. If you were a man who believed in that sort of stuff, you'd almost believe he was younger.
If only
can I not make that assessment based on my medical knowledge?
Yeah, make your medical knowledge.
Yeah, boy.
10. Do it.
Yes. This is a man that is.
He is younger.
This is a man that seems to be younger. This is a man who you met a man in his 50s. This is not a man in his 50s. This is a man in his 40s. Definitely.
Are we over at the bar now?
You have headed over to the bar. I will describe the bar to you. Go on.
I was just going to say, we can chat more freely now, I presume.
But before any of that happens, as Stravinsky gives everyone a handshake, he sort of goes slightly closer to Daniel and asks, "Can we trust these two?" To the other two nude people. He doesn't know Schmidt and Egbert or whatever Phil's called.
Ever.
Yeah.
But nice.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
I can
Schmidt
say,
gives,
yes,
Stravinsky
my friend.
very firm handshake.
Okay. He's happy now.
We have stuff we need to talk about, I assume.
Duh.
This bar is well stocked. It has panelled walls, polished wooden floor, and 3 windows with heavy purple drapes. There are 2 servants here, one of which is manning the bar. You, of course, all know that because prohibition is in effect, all of this liquor is illegal. But people appear to be making orders from the lounge, and people are bringing them through. There is nobody else in the bar, with the exception of one person that is tending to their drink by themselves in a corner. He doesn't appear to be paying any attention to you.
What's the age distribution? Do you have sort of smaller cliques of younger people and
There are
older
a
dudes
wide
elsewhere?
variety of people, and they're all quite they're all interacting quite freely. You have people in their
So
20s.
it doesn't seem like that there's some dude somewhere that sort of someone people don't generally approach who
No,
might
everybody
be the
seems-
boss that they don't. Okay.
You notice as well, you'll definitely notice this, Daniel, that this is an organization that appears to have a lot of people that are not American in it. There are people from all
Can I
parts
do a
of the
listen
world.
check to hear different accents, maybe?
Yes? Make me a listen check.
You rolled the...
Okay, in
69.
that case, when you went through the lounge, you could hear somebody in the corner talking exceptionally fluent German.
Oh!
He was talking
Okay.
about engineering.
I will very quickly tell the group that I just heard something that could eventually turn into a lead and that I might be suited for. So I will grab myself a drink, and I hope they serve canapes, because if so, I will grab myself one of those as well. Of course they do.
serve
Of
canapes.
course. I grabbed 2 because I haven't eaten properly ever since coming out of the facility.
Mhm.
And I will position myself. Is there like a chair free, like
There
maybe
are
at a
plenty
table
of
close
chairs
by?
free.
So
Okay,
which-
I will lounge myself with the back to the wall so I can look into the room and I have a good listen of
Yep.
that person who's speaking fluent German.
Excellent.